What is up, guys? My name is Lex. Welcome back to the vlog. We're here at Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida, getting ready to play a poker session. The last time I spoke with you guys, I was feeling a little stressed out, a little anxious, a little annoyed from poker, somewhat burnt out. So yesterday I took the entire day off. I went to the gym, I went to the beach, I played with my dog, and today I feel ready to get back after it. So let's get down to the table, let's get to the action, let's go. We take our seat at the 2-5 game. While waiting for the 5-10 seat, we immediately pick up a premium hand. Pocket queens, there's a button straddle of $10. Folds all the way around to early position player who makes it $30. I re-raise to $90. Folds back over to him and he makes the call. So we're heads up in position to a 7-8-9 board. Not the best cards here because he can improve to some sets like pocket nines, 8s, 7s, 2 pairs, and straights. I'm going to bet here, but I'm going to proceed with caution. I start out with $125, and he pretty quickly folds. If you guys are looking to move up in stakes in your poker career, maybe you want to go from 1-2 to 2-5, 2-5 to 5-10, I'm going to go over my tips for moving up or taking shots at bigger games throughout this video, so stay tuned for that. This next hand gets pretty funky at the end. I have pocket kings in the hijack position. I raise to $20. There's a man to my left who has been rebuying every single orbit for $200. I would say he's in the game now for at least $1,000. He's playing every single hand. He's given a ton of action. He makes the call. We see an 8 high board. I continue for $25 and he makes the call. Turn 4 of diamonds, not the best card, brings in some 2 pairs and straight, so I check over to him and he immediately bets out, but for a small sizing of $20. So this guy has been bluffing a ton. He has been playing every single hand, so he can obviously have some hands that are beating me here, but would he really only bet $20 with 2 pairs, sets, or straights on a board with 2 flush draws? I don't think so. So I look over at his stack and he has about $500 left. So I decided to put in a check raise here with pocket kings to $125. This is very thin value, but against this player who's playing every single hand, does not like to fold, is on tilt, rebuying 5 or 6 times. I just don't think he's ever folding a pair to me or a flush draw or a straight draw, which is exactly what happens. He ends up making the call, so we're going heads up now again to the river, which is a deuce of spades. Pretty much a total brick. I'm first to act and I'm eyeing up my opponent's stack with about 400 remaining. I don't want to bet too big so that he can hero fold his pairs, so I settle on a bet of $200. However, before I can get my chips out, my opponent in the cutoff bets before me. He slides out $150 before I've even acted.
That was out of turn.
Yeah, I didn't act.
He hasn't acted yet. He hasn't acted yet.
So if you check that money has to stay out there?
Yeah, it has to stay out there, yeah. Stacking. But I'm just kind of, we're going to leave it right there.
You know I didn't act or no?
You didn't act. You acted out of turn. The money has to stay. That's correct.
The ruling in this card room is that if I check, his bet will stand, and then I can either call, fold, or raise. If I make my own bet, then he can take his bet back and his bet doesn't stand. So I'm not really sure what to do here. I don't think this guy is angling me. He's an older man who's just playing for fun, basically playing every single hand, stuck about $1,000. I just think he didn't know the action was on him and he wanted to bet, which is a little worrisome because I raised him on the turn. So would he really be betting just a single pair hand? So I decided to just check here and take the lower variance route. His bet stands. I make the call. He shows queen 8 for top pair. I show pocket kings for an overpair and we are good. But I'm curious to think what you guys have to say. Leave your comments down below what you guys would do in this spot if you were in it. An interesting hand there. I feel like I kind of got gypped out of a couple $100 if I would have jammed all in, but I didn't really want to take advantage of this old man when he bet out of turn. Next hand I have queen 9 of clubs. There's one limp. I make it $25 on the button. Small blind, same guy from last hand who likes to bet out of turn, makes the call, and under the gun makes the call as well. We see a super dry board of queen high. When it checks to me, I bet $25. Small blind does not think for too long and makes the call, and under the gun makes the call as well. Turn 3 of hearts. I don't normally use live tells very often, but the woman in the under the gun position when this card came out basically jumped out of her chair. She started making weird movements with her hands, then eventually checked over to me. She looked super excited to see this card, so I feel like she could have hit a straight with 4-5, so I decided to check back. The river's the 9 of hearts, giving me top 2 pair, but the backdoor flush gets there. Small blind player bets in turn this time. He jams all in for $75. And now under the gun goes all in herself for $300. This is actually a really nasty spot here with top 2 pair. Small blind jams all in, and now this under the gun player who had been playing very conservative all night re-jams. I don't think she's ever doing this with like king queen or queen jack or just one pair hand. I feel like our hand is basically a bluff catcher now. There's no queen of hearts on the board, so she could have gone runner flush. She could have 4-5 for a straight. She could even have a set. So I unfortunately let my top 2 pair go, and small blind shows king 5 of hearts for a flush, and under the gun is visibly frustrated. She shows 4-5 offsuit for a turn straight. What a great welcome back to 2-5 Florida Poker. It is an extremely busy night here at the Hard Rock, and it looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for our 5-10 seat. We're 4 spots away, so we're going to continue to grind 2-5 for now. In classic Florida fashion, there's 3 limps for $5. The hijack makes it $30. The button calls $30. I'm in the small blind with ace queen of hearts, a very powerful, awesome looking hand, so I decide to put in the re-raise here. I don't want to call and go multi-way out of position with this hand. I make it $135. Folds back around to the hijack player who makes the call. He has about $2,000 and the button makes the call as well. We flop top on queen 5 deuce rainbow, a super dry and unconnecting board. I love this flop, but it's pretty hard to get called by worse hands, so I decide to bet small here, only $100 into over a $400 pot. Hijack player doesn't think for too long and makes the fold, but the button comes along with a call. The button has $400 left in his stack, and when the turn is a 7 of spades, I decide to get a little tricky and check over to him. I'm hoping that this will induce him to bluff, maybe overvalue bet a worse hand, or maybe it will underrep our hand and we can get called down lighter on the river. I check over to him, and unfortunately, he decides to check back. We see the 3 of spades on the last card, brings in a backdoor flush, and ace-4 for a straight, but I'm not too concerned here. He has less than a pot-sized bet, so I'm going to go for it all. I put him all in for $400, and it looks like he completely missed. He pretty quickly folds. Over the last 4 years, I've been pretty aggressive with shot taking, trying to move up in stakes. I started out at 1-2 about 3.5 years ago, moved up to 2-5 after about a year, and then about a year and a half ago, I moved up to 5-10 where I play consistently now. I want to go over my tips and strategies if you're trying to take a shot at a bigger game and what you should think about. When you're taking a shot at a bigger game, try buying in a little bit shallower, maybe 70 or 100 big blinds. Bring anywhere from 3 to 4 buy-ins with you. This will allow less opportunities to make big mistakes while playing in a game you're not used to. My next tip is try to avoid fancy play syndrome. I see this quite often with players taking shots at bigger games. They feel like they have to change their play style because they're playing a different game, and they end up just pulling some crazy wild bluffs or stupid moves, and they end up punting off their entire stack. An example of fancy play syndrome would be cold 4-betting all in with queen 7 of diamonds because you saw Tom Dwan do it on the internet. On the other hand, you don't want to play scared money when you're taking a shot at a bigger game. Try not to let the size of the game impact your decisions pre-flop or post-flop. Think of the chips as big blinds and not actual dollars. You also have to be mentally prepared for the bigger swings. If you move from 1-2 to 2-5 or 2-5 to 5-10, you may win or lose 2, 3, 4, 5 times more than you're used to, so you have to be mentally prepared for this. My last tip is try to observe the table and learn from the best players. If your goal is to play bigger games and eventually become a reg and a winning player in that game, you want to try to watch and learn from the best players at the table. If you guys have any more questions about moving up in stakes or taking shots, leave them down in the comments and I'll get back to you. Back to the poker, we finally get called for our 5-10 seat. We end up profiting a little over $900 in about 3 hours of this 2-5 game. Right into the action here at 5-10. There's a raise to $30 by an action player in the hijack. I have ace queen in the cutoff. I re-raise to $100. Small blind cold calls $100, and then the initial raiser makes the call as well. We're 3 ways in a 3-bet pot, 2, 9, deuce, 3, rainbow. We completely missed, but on this board, I feel like I can c-bet here and put some pressure on some smaller pocket pairs or even hands like pocket 10s or jacks. I can continue to barrel on turns and rivers and hopefully make them fold. So I start out with a bluff here of $175. The small blind who cold called my 3-bet makes the call. An initial raiser in the cutoff makes the fold. Heads up to the queen of spades on the turn, giving me top pair, top kicker. The small blind had not been getting out of line this entire time, so when he cold calls my 3-bet pre-flop and then calls my flop bet with a player behind him, I think he's going to have pocket 6s through pocket 10s a lot of the time. I'm actually somewhat concerned he has pocket 9s here for a set. I think it's going to be hard to get 3 streets of value from this player with a worse hand, so I decided to check this one back. We see the 4 of spades on the river, and now the small blind leads into me for $275, which is quite worrisome. I don't think he's doing this with a 1-pair hand that we're beating, and it doesn't seem like he's bluffing here. However, our hand is just way too strong to fold in a 3-bet pot on this run out, so I decide to put in the call, and it is a good thing we just called because he shows pocket 9s for a set, and we get pretty badly coolered here. 3-bet pot, top pair, top kicker versus a set. We end up losing almost all the profit we made at 2-5. Next up, there's an under the gun raise to 30. I 3-bet next to act to $100. The cutoff makes a call, the same player who got us with pocket 9s last hand, and under the gun makes a call as well. So we're 3 ways to the flop, and in this hand, I'm going to do something I've never done on this vlog. I'm going to keep my cards hidden so you don't know what I have and you have to sweat out the action. We're 3 ways to 7-8 deuce rainbow. Under the gun checks and we completely, nope, no hints here, guys. I decided to c-bet $125. Now, if you've been watching me long enough, you can probably start ranging me to a certain amount of hands that I might be doing this with. I 3-bet an early position raiser and I'm c-betting into 2 people on this flop. Now, the cutoff player decides he wants to play for more. He puts in a raise to $300. Under the gun folds, and for this price, I decide to make the call, and we go heads up to the turn, which pairs the board. It's another 8. I check over to the cutoff player who continues to step on the gas. He makes it $400. Now, he raised me on the flop. He now continues for $400. Pretty interesting spot here to be in. He's representing a hand like an 8, pocket 7s, pocket deuces, 7-8, and all those hands are pretty strong. However, I decide to make the call, so we're going to the river in a pretty sizable pot. An interesting one here. What the heck do I have? We see the ace of spades on the last card. I decide to not play in flow and lead out here for $650. To recap the action, I 3-bet pre-flop, got 2 callers, c-bet an 8-high board, got raised to $300, made the call. The turn paired the top card, I checked, he bet $400, I made the call. The river's an ace and I let out for $650, and now it's your turn to guess what I had. Did I have A, ace king, B, pocket aces, C, 8-6 of hearts, D, 9-10 of clubs? I want you guys to now pause the video, go down in the comments below and put in what you think I had. The answer is 8-6 of hearts. We have trips. We lead out here for $650. My opponent quickly shows pocket 10s and folds, which is kind of the hand I put him on. I didn't think he would be value betting on that ace river card or bluffing, so I let out for a blocker size bet, and unfortunately, he folded. However, we take down a pretty big pot here. We get moved over to the main game, and there's a nice lady sitting on my left with a massive stack. She is running super hot, almost $12,000 in front of her, and we're about to play a pot with her. It's a $25 straddle onto me on the button. I have queen 10 of hearts. I make it $75. She 3-bets out of the small blind to $300, and the action's back over on me. This particular player doesn't 3-bet very light, so I think she has pocket jacks plus and ace king. My hand plays very well in position post flop, so I make the call. We see a flop heads up in position, king jack 7 rainbow. We flop an open-ended straight draw. I put her on a strong hand pre-flop, and I would say this board should be smashing her range here. She can have some sets, 2 pairs, top pair, top kicker. So when she leads out for $300, I don't think I can ever semi-bluff raise on this board with my hand, but I'm definitely not going to be folding. I have over $4,000 in my stack, so if I hit a 9 or an ace or maybe backdoor hearts, I could potentially win a huge $8,000 pot. I make the call, praying for some help here. Come on, dealer, give me a 9, give me an ace, let me win a big pot. We see the 5 of spades on the turn, not helping us at all. She immediately leads out for $800, which is too much for us to call. I end up letting this one go. This ends up being our last hand of the night. We end up racking up our chips, heading to the cage, cashing out. Hey, be nice. This is Aria, my friend's dog. She may be cuter than Rogue. Rogue, come here. Come here. What do you guys think? Dogs of the vlog. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I ended up winning $120 tonight. 2-5 made $900. Lost most of that at 5-10. Not too many crazy big hands, but if you enjoyed the video and you like the dogs, come here dogs, come here. If you like the dogs, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe. New videos just like this every single week. All right, until next time, we'll see ya.